Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss zoophily, that is how animals or insects help in cross-pollination. You can see over here some pictures of how different animals are helping in pollination. Right on the top left side is a hummingbird, then there's an insect, then a rodent, and then a lizard. They are all helping in pollination. Zoophily is basically pollination through animals. Now, for zoophily to occur, there are certain features the flowers or the plants have. Some of them are as follows. The flowers have to be attractive and large, conspicuous, brightly colored, and showy to attract the animals. Unless and until the flowers are big enough, how would they attract different insects or animals? We saw in the pictures how the hummingbird or the insect was attracted to different colors of the flowers. Now, different colors attract different insects. Like white is attracted by moths, red is attracted by butterflies and some moths. Bees are colorblind and use ultraviolet radiations for observations, and to them red appears as black in that ultraviolet radiation. And bees are very important mode of pollination. They are helping in pollination of a number of species of plant. With the recent researchers have said that some of the species of bees are getting extinct. It is bee is a very useful pollinator, but then some of the species of bees are becoming extinct. To prevent that, various types of researches are being performed. Now, why bees are very good? You can see over here the bee is being covered with hairs, and all the hairs have got colored with pollen grains. So they are very good pollinators, and they help in maximum pollination that occurs all around us. So if the bee species becomes extinct, do you think we'll get the same amount of grains as we are getting now? No, we will not. You see, they are holding on to the pollen grains over here, and the pollen grains they are eating it. It's a food for them, and they are carrying the pollen grains also. Carrying the pollen grains from the legs of the bee, the pollen grains go and stick to the stigma of the receptive flowers. See how it is carrying from one to the other. Another feature of the flower is they blossom at a specific time when the particular insect is available. Like flowers produce specific odor to attract insects. Pleasant smell in jasmine attract insects from long distance. Moth pollinated flower blossom after dusk. They produce heavy fragrance to attract them. Even you might have seen So nectar is the food source for insects, and nectaries are positioned in such a way that the insect visitors touch both the anthers and the stigma during the nectar extraction. Pollen grains may be rough, spiny, and sticky to act as an adherent to the insect body. Nectar and pollen grains are floral rewards for the insects. Flowers have landing platform also for the insects. Stigma are often sticky to take the pollen sticking onto the insect.
What this bumblebee is after is pollen. Bumblebees eat pollen. It's high in protein. But the flower doesn't want to give it to just anyone. So it hides it away in those bright yellow anthers. For a flower, that's unusual. Most flowers keep their pollen on the outside of the anther, which is the male part of the flower. Pollen is basically sperm for plants. Most flowers make sugary nectar too. They use it as bait to attract bees and other pollinators, which get coated in pollen along the way. And since bees are messy, they inadvertently scatter some of that pollen onto the female part of the next flower they visit. That's how most flowers have sex. But this type of flower doesn't offer nectar. The only way to get to its pollen is through those tiny pores at the ends. But the bumblebee knows just what to do. It wraps its legs around the flower and bites down on the anthers, that male part of the flower. See those wings shaking? Normally, the bumblebee uses those powerful muscles to flap its wings. That's what makes the buzzing sound when they fly. But here, those muscles vibrate its whole body, so hard and fast that it makes a louder, higher-pitched buzz. This vibration shakes up the pollen trapped inside the anthers until it spews out all over the bumblebee. It's called buzz pollination, and you don't need a bumblebee to do it. A tuning fork will do. The bumblebee grooms the pollen down into sticky sacs on its legs, carries it back to the hive. Only a few types of pollinators, like bumblebees, are capable of buzz pollination. Honeybees can't do it. This field is kind of a free-for-all. Think Las Vegas buffet. Tons of food, but long lines. Lots of competition. Buzz pollination is more like a private club. By only permitting pollinators that know the secret knock, the flower ups the chances that its pollen will end up on flowers from the same club, the same species. The bumblebee? Well, sure, it has to work a little harder, and there's no sweet nectar. But it's a reliable pollen stash that almost no one else has access to. Tomatoes, potatoes, blueberries. All of these need buzz pollination to reproduce. Much of the food we eat owes its existence to that buzz.
So the range of animals as pollinators is not restricted, right from bees, butterflies, flies, beetles, wasps, ants, moth, birds, hummingbirds, bats. All of them can behave as pollinators, but bees are dominant biotic pollinating agents. Some primates like lemur, arboreal rodents, reptiles, they are also pollinators. And what are the rewards the animals get? They get food as nectar or pollen. They also get shelter to lay eggs, like the yucca plant, whose life cycle completes with the help of a plant. Without it, it cannot complete its life cycle. Now I'll give you two videos, one showing pollination by lemurs and another showing pollination by bats.
Sips the nectar from the flowers of the bottle baobab tree. They may be cute, but they are extremely dangerous to the dumbest and slowest of the insects. Seriously, bugs are embarrassed when their friends are eaten by a mouse lemur. Let's face